Hello again, bright and brilliant story fans. You've just clicked on Simple Stories, Smart Kids, the channel where animals talk, adventures pop, and fairy tales get a super silly twist. Today, we're heading to a cozy little cottage in the woods where 7 baby goats are about to face off with the sneakiest wolf this side of Storyville. Hold on to your hooves. It's time for the wolf and the 7 young goats. Once upon a time, in a small, cozy house nestled at the edge of a beautiful green forest, there lived a mother goat and her 7 little kids. No, not human kids. These were the fluffy, bouncy, extremely adorable goat kind of kids. They had the biggest, brightest eyes, softest fur, and such squeaky little voices you'd think they had swallowed a handful of party balloons. The goat family was always up for fun. Hide and seek, hop and skip, and, of course, eating your mom's cooking, which in their case usually meant grass, leaves, and the very occasional treat of wildflowers. Now, let's be clear. In every fairy tale forest, there's always someone with mischief in mind. In this forest, that someone was the big bad wolf. But before you picture a super scary villain, let me tell you, this wolf was less terrifying and more hungry. Nothing got his tummy rumbling quite like the thought of plump, juicy little goats. So he tiptoed around the edge of the forest, always dreaming of his next sneaky meal. One sunny morning, Mother Goat said, "Kids, listen up. I have to go out and find some food. You know the rules, don't open the door for anyone. Especially, and I mean especially, if it's that sneaky old wolf. He sounds scratchy and gruff, and his paws are as dark as mud. Promise me." The kids immediately squeaked, "We promise, Mama." With such enthusiasm, you would think they'd memorized an oath. And off Mother Goat went, confident her kids were as safe as marshmallows in a bakery. The 7 little kids locked the door, peeped out the window, and sang silly songs about grass and sunshine. But the wolf, who'd been eavesdropping from behind a bush, grinned wickedly. "Time for a little trickery." "Niku," he muttered. He puffed up his chest, sauntered over to the door, and knocked, deepening his voice. "Open the door, my sweet little ones. It's your dear old mother back with treats." But the kids weren't that easily fooled. They peered beneath the door and shrieked, "No way! You're not our mama. Her voice is soft and kind, and you sound like you swallowed a box of gravel." And when the wolf rested his paws against the door, they spotted them right away. Filthy, black as coal. Besides, our mother's paws are clean and white, not dirty like those. Foiled, the wolf stomped away, right down to the village bakery. There, using his best innocent animal face, he asked for some flour and smeared it all over his paws until they looked as white as whipped cream. Wolf 1, dirt 0. Now, he had one more thing to fix, that scratchy voice. Luckily, he found a jar of honey and slurped it down. Instantly, his voice turned sweet and syrupy, almost as if he'd swallowed a lullaby. "Heh! This'll do the trick," the wolf thought gleefully. Back he went, knocking on the door just as gently as he could. "Sweet children, your dear mama is home with treats." This time, the kids looked at the white paws beneath the door, listened to the honeyed voice, and almost fell for it. Except the littlest goat was the cleverest. "Wait!" she whispered. "Let's see her hoof through the window." So, up the wolf stretched his shiny, flowery paw, hoping for the best. But the sharp-eyed kids spotted something suspicious. Was that a claw poking out from all that flour? And was there a patch of fur glued to that clean, white paw? "You're not our mother! You're the wolf! Go away!" they shouted with all their goat confidence. The wolf groaned. His plan, once again, was toast. But wolves are nothing if not determined, or maybe just really, really bad at taking a hint. He stormed back to the bakery, this time demanding an even thicker layer of flour, and drank another whole jar of honey. Then he put on his gentlest, least wolfy smile and strolled up to the house a 3rd time. "Open the door, my darling children," he crooned. "It's really me, your mother. Now honestly, even the sharpest little goats in the world can get tricked after a while, especially when they're feeling a bit peckish themselves and miss their mama." The wolf's paws were as white as snow, his voice as soft as a cloud, and the kids, after the 3rd try, were starting to doubt their own instincts. With a squeak and a creak, they opened the door. Whoosh! In burst the wolf, teeth gleaming and eyes twinkling wickedly. The kids squealed in alarm, scampering in every direction, behind curtains, under the bed, into cupboards, even stuffing themselves into the grandfather clock. But one by one, the wolf sniffed out 6 of them. Gulp, gulp, gulp. It all happened so fast, 6 little goats were now nothing more than wiggling bumps in the wolf's belly. But what about the 7th little goat? Well, she was the tiniest and the smartest, and she had slipped into the old grandfather clock, holding her breath as the wolf snuffled around. "I'm too full for more," the wolf muttered, failing to spot her. "Now for a nap." Off the wolf waddled, as heavy as a beanbag chair, and collapsed under a shady tree outside. Within moments, he was snoring so loudly it startled the birds and made the butterflies in the meadow do loop-de-loops. Meanwhile, Mother Goat came home. She took one look at the mess, heard one sniffle from the last little goat, and realized what had happened. The youngest goat tumbled out from the grandfather clock, crying, and told her everything. But Mother Goat wasn't just sad. Oh no, she was determined to rescue her children, armed with a sewing kit. Don't ask me why goats keep sewing kits. Maybe for emergencies just like this. She and her brave little kid tiptoed out to the sleeping wolf. There he was, mouth open, belly bulging and squirming, snoring as if he'd swallowed an entire brass band. With needle and thread, and a shaky but steady hand, Mother Goat quietly snipped open the wolf's belly, and out popped her 6 other children, dazed but unharmed. They were so happy to see the son and their mother, they bounced around and promised to never open any doors again, even if the caller sounded like a rock star. But Mother Goat wasn't finished with her lesson just yet. She whispered to her kids, who nodded and hurried off to gather heavy stones, loading up the wolf's belly. Then Mother Goat sewed up the belly with her neatest stitches. Satisfied, she led her children home for a big, safe cuddle. When the wolf finally woke up, he was thirsty, his mouth drier than a desert, his belly heavier than an elephant. He lumbered over to a nearby well to drink, but as he leaned in, the heavy stones tumbled, and splash! Down went the wolf, never to trouble the goat family again. And that, my giggly goat friends, is the wild and woolly tale of the wolf and the 7 young goats. If this story made you laugh, gasp, or cheer for Mama Goat, give us a big thumbs up and hit that magical subscribe button. Join us every day at Simple Stories, smart kids for more fairy tales with heart, humor, and just a pinch of goat mischief. Until next time, stay clever, stay kind, and always check who's at the door.